Okay, the next income stock I'll now talk about is actually this company called Talkmed. So why I chose this company is because I believe this is income and growth stock. So why I say that is because it's actually giving very decent dividends, I think more than 4%. And at the same time, I do see a growth potential in this company. So obviously, if I can find income and growth stock, that is my preference. So a bit about the business, they are basically onto medical oncology. I believe they operate more of Mount E. Yeah? So they are basically like the cancer centers. They have a group of doctors that provide cancer treatment. And as you can see here, they also do things like palliative care. And Scenery Health Services is more of the health check. Okay, if you read in details, all the health check, all the scanning, and so on and so forth. As per the growth, what is interesting is their overseas operation. So based on the chairman's statement, they are actually quite aggressive overseas. They have actually started doing something overseas. And if you ask me personally speaking, I believe medical Singapore branding is sort of sought after, especially in places like, where they are in Vietnam and China. So looking at the medical tourism, I won't be surprised that, if they go overseas, they will be respected, okay, or at least think highly of, or like Singapore, there's certain brand in terms of the medical field. Okay, so same thing. If we actually look at normal company, the first thing we actually look at is looking at the chairman's statement. So you can do see that why I see this as a growth business. Okay, they are operating in China, Hong Kong, and they actually expect patients number to improve. So given that the market is huge in that area, so they just went in. Or you can put it this way, they just went in low base, and once they establish the base there, given that the pie is large, slowly and surely the numbers will actually go up. So the other thing also quite interesting is that they are also into new, if I'm not mistaken, new treatment methods. So they are going to think of cell and gene therapy. Okay. And they're also doing things like innovative therapies. So of course, I'm not medically trained. I am not in a position to comment whether is it going to be successful, but at least they bother to go and do things like that. It's a growth strategy. Of course, things may not go well. Okay, but my point here is this: why is there a growth? Because I see a growth stories. Yeah. So for those who, of course, can believe that all this technology is going to do well, sure, this is something that you may actually want to pay attention to. But of course, if you are not into new technology, okay, of course, something to be careful of. It's a high risk, high return. So personally, I do believe that medically speaking, okay, there are always more and more new treatment methods coming up. So I do like companies who actually pay attention to all these new methods. But of course, as I mentioned, there's a risk there. Whether these new methods are they going to be eventually fruitful or not, that we don't know. So high risk, high return. Okay. So after business analysis, same thing, financial statement analysis, the 6 tests, as you can see, all the 6 tests pass. So profit past 5%, yes. Current ratio 3.8, debt equity 0.38. So it's very healthy. So of course, they are in a service industry. Their debt is actually quite low, relatively speaking. So what I like is really about you can see a profit margin, crazy 38.4% is actually very high. Okay, this is already after all the doctor's fees, blah, 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 so on and so forth. It's really the profit, okay, for the shareholders per se. So you can see that it's actually very high margin, very high margin. So that's why I took interest in stocks like this. You are giving quite steady dividends, you have a growth story, and the margin is so good. So interest cover 106, 107, so okay, very good. Okay, I really doubt they have any problems with the banks. So I do a DCF, so same thing, I will email the DCF to you all. You can go and play around. Also, long story short here is this. I do a DCF, fair value is actually 65 cents. Do a 10% discount is actually 58 cents. And based on current price is actually 45.5 cents. Okay, the PE is slightly high, okay, but for growth stocks, I think for that growth element, I think this is something I can accept. So if let's say this is a pure income stocks, yeah, I will go for PE less than 20 times. But if let's say there's a growth story, I can do accept that PE is more than 20 times, which is in this case. And the best part for this stock is look at the dividend yield. So it's actually quite attractive. Past 5 years is 5.07. Okay, so it has been giving dividends throughout. And if you buy today, the yield is 4.78, which is actually still quite good. So today, if you ask me anything above 4%, I'm actually quite happy lah. As a dividend stock, anything above 4%, I'm quite happy. Especially in this case, where there's a growth story, of course, I have no problem with that. Okay, so you can do see that the dividend is indeed quite okay, quite steady. Yes, in the past it actually gave a bit more. Then of course COVID hit. Okay, it came down came down. But as you can see, the at least there are dividends being given. So yeah, actually I'm not too sure this part what exactly happened. Maybe there's a stock split or whatever. I'm not too sure about that. But let's say we go by the past 5 to 6 years, so you can see that it's quite steady in a sense that it does give every year. And averaging speaking, you're talking about 2 cents, 2 cents, which is based on the current price, is actually quite decent. So if I were to take the latest dividend yield, the latest dividend divided by the current price, about 4.8%, which is quite close to what we see here, 4.78. So about that. So these are the two income stocks that I'll be looking at for this month. Okay, thank you so much.